What's going on, guys? Multiverse Sculpt here with yet another action figure review video, and today we are having a look at Mortal Kombat 11 Liu Kang from McFarlane Toys. As always, guys, starting off this video, we of course are looking at the packaging, and this one is a big difference compared to McFarlane's DC Multiverse line. This package does have the open face window, but it is of course this nice gold and black Mortal Kombat 11 colors. I think that they did a fantastic design on this box. I really love how skinny and tall that this box really is. But of course, getting into the box, at the top we do have Mortal Kombat 11 and Liu Kang down here at the bottom with the open face window like we have already said. Just a nice little product shot of Liu Kang here on the side, and on the back is the real money maker for this figure. Let's go ahead and get this glare out of the way. This box is a real glare magnet with this ring light, guys. I gotta kind of keep it at an angle here. But of course, down here at the bottom, McFarlane's social media pages that you can take a look at on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Speaking of Instagram, go ahead and drop me a follow on Instagram, guys. It's the same name, Multiverse Sculpt. Over here on the side, we do have McFarlane Toys up here at the top and Mortal Kombat 11 down here at the side. And nothing really going on at the bottom except for, of course, that wonderful barcode. So with all that said, though, guys, let's go ahead and rip Liu Kang out of this packaging and take a closer look. So right here, guys, is Liu Kang ripped out of the packaging, and I think he looks absolutely phenomenal. I really do love that they went with his classic look where he is shirtless and he just has his nunchucks out ready for Mortal Kombat. I'm a big fan of these games. The downside with this figure that I can see already is that there is no read-up. There's no trading card. There's no read-up on the back of the box. It is just straight Mortal Kombat figure. I am a big fan of Mortal Kombat 11. I thought the story was very interesting. I won't say fantastic, but I thought it was very interesting and I had a good time playing this game. With all that said, though, guys, let's go ahead and get this figure off the rotating turntable and take a closer look at those accessories. In terms of accessories for this figure, guys, all we really have is, of course, the McFarlane stand, but instead of saying DC, it says Mortal Kombat. And it's just a standard stand that we get with every single DC Multiverse figure. So that's all there is to that. Over here, we do have interchangeable hands for Liu Kang, the chosen one. He does have gripping hands for his nunchucks, and he also has his flat, I guess you can call him his combat hands, his little flat taunting hands of come on, get some, and I'm talking to you. He also comes with his nunchuck, and they are yellow to match his outfit, so don't you think that's cute? With his nunchucks, this is all they do. They are a soft, bendy plastic in terms of the chain, but for the nunchuck itself, it is a solid plastic. So I'd be careful bending these, and you don't want to warp them over time, but I feel like the chain is made specifically for you to have a little bit of fun with. For future accessories when it comes to Liu Kang figures, I will say I'm very disappointed that he did not come with one fireball, one flaming projectile. He is the chosen one, but I digress. I just really would love to see some fire projectiles with future Liu Kang figures. I mean, my man really turns into a flaming dragon when he fights. So, come on, McFarlane, a little bit of fire action. Now jumping into that detail of this figure, guys. Although it looks like it's a little dirty right here in his neck. I wonder how that happens. Give me 1 second, guys. We'll be right back. And we are back, guys. And unfortunately, I could not get those dust specks or whatever it is. Maybe it's some black paint left over from when they painted his hair. I am not entirely sure, but his black dots all throughout his chest and his neck area. But when it comes to sculpt in his face, I will say his face looks kind of flat. It's kind of bland, not really much going on. I can tell that they took a lot of time doing his nose, though, because that thing looks a little bit massive. But I can see that it is Liu Kang. It does look like he came out of the video game, but it's just his eyes look kind of dead and his eyebrows look like they're just painted on. I don't really feel like a sculpt within his eyebrows. Moving down to his torso, I can tell that they took a lot of time in this sculpt, but there is a Liu Kang with no nipples. He has no nipples whatsoever. But they spent time on his six-pack and his pecs with no nipples. But they did do a fairly decent job when it comes to the body sculpt. He does obviously have the muscle tone that you would see from Liu Kang from the video games. Now, where the sculpt really went into detail, I can tell, is on his gauntlets. And they are just phenomenal with just these two dragons. And they also took time doing his trousers, his little pants down here. They did put a lot of detail and sculpt into that, and there is little grooves throughout it. It is detailed all throughout to where it has that texture feeling to it. Down here at the feet, they are just two little black slivers. Nothing really going on with his feet detail. They did try to add a little something there, but it's just kind of flat. It's just kind of painted on there, lightly sculpted, but it's just mostly paint. So in terms of detail, body-wise, I will say for muscle tone and fabric in his pants, then they did a great job. And we missed out on his little headband up here. It does blend in with his hair. I, of course, have some like brownish yellow chippage up here. It came out of the box like that. But his band, they did do a nice little detail in his little knot. And strands that come down from the headband did blend very well into this figure, and they are soft plastic, so you can kind of pull them out, but they will fall back down. With all that said though, guys, for the detail, let's go ahead and jump right into size and articulation. When it comes to size on this figure, guys, Liu Kang does stand at about the 7-inch mark. He is just a little bit taller than 7 inches, but we'll just round it off to McFarlane's typical 7-inch scale. I am glad to see that McFarlane does do these bigger figures. I know some people like the 6-inch, some people like the 7-inch. I myself am a 7-inch figure guy. So I'm really glad that McFarlane stays consistent with his figures and making them all about the same size. In terms of articulation for this figure, guys, starting off with the head like we always do, he doesn't really look up at all. His hair does get in the way, but he does look down all the way, and he is on a ball joint and rotates all the way around. For his arm articulation, his arm goes up about that far and rotates all the way around, and it does have a useful butterfly joint as well. It is not one of the McFarlane useless butterfly joints where it's so tucked far into the body that you can't do anything with it. He does, of course, have a bicep swivel as well. It's trying to hold his shoulder in place there. There we go. Rotates all the way around. For his elbow, it is on a double hinge joint as well. Going down to his wrist, it is on the McFarlane ball joint and wrist hinge and peg. Mine's a little stuck, actually. I think I just... came close to popping that right off. So we're not going to move it too much. It's already made me nervous, so I'm not going to touch it at all. But if you get luckier than me, it does have the hinge and peg within his wrist as well. As for his torso, he does come with an ab crunch, but it is pretty useless other than going backwards. Going forward, you don't really get much of anything. But he, of course, does have that side-to-side motion that McFarlane gives his figures. As for his waist articulation, his waist does rotate all the way around. Going down to his legs, he kicks out about that far, and kicks back pretty much next to none due to the rubber buttocks back here, or in his case, lack thereof. He, of course, does have the double hinge knees as well, but they only hinge so far. They don't go all the way up to his backside due to the ruffles in his pants being in the way. His ankle does articulate down. It goes up. He has toe articulation, and he does have ankle pivot. So he is going to get them high kicks for when he is in combat. With all that said, though, guys, let's go ahead and bring out some other figures out here to compare to Liu Kang. Starting off this size comparison, here is Mortal Kombat's Liu Kang scaled up to McFarlane Toys Batman. And if you guys like this Batman, I'm sorry to break it to you that this is not a full McFarlane Toys Batman. It is a Batman that I made myself, ripping apart McFarlane Batmans and piecing them together, because look at that centerpiece. You can't ignore that to say that is a fantastic bat symbol. Here we have Liu Kang scaled up to Marvel Legends Cyclops, and I'm sorry to say that if you wanted to scale Liu Kang up with some 6-inch figures, it's just not going to work. It is a gigantic gap, as you can tell. And right here, guys, couldn't pass up the opportunity since the Xenomorph alien was in Mortal Kombat 10. Had to compare him to Liu Kang. This here is the NECA Toys Xenomorph alien, and I think that they go together quite nicely, being that Xenomorph is an alien, so size really doesn't matter when it comes to these two. Alrighty guys, and there you have it, another action figure review video in the books on my channel for you guys to enjoy. When it comes to my review on this figure, I'm going to give Liu Kang a solid 8 out of 10. I think that this figure was great, don't get me wrong. I do love the idea that they were going with here, but I do feel like it was a little lackluster, and they were kind of lazy, if you ask me, for not including some fire effects. What is the Chosen One without his fire effects? I mean, that's kind of his whole shtick, other than, you know, kicking and punching and running around with nunchucks. There is so much more special to Liu Kang in his repertoire of fighting abilities that they just kind of skipped out on. So I'm really hoping in a future release for Liu Kang that we do see some fire effects and maybe even a half dragon, half Liu Kang. I think that that would be very interesting to see. So with all that said though guys, if you did enjoy my video, do me a favor, hit that like and hit subscribe. Drop me a comment because I do love interacting with the community. I love hearing your guys' voices out there in the world. So go ahead, drop a comment. Let's chat. Let's talk. So with all that said though guys, I will see you in the next video. Later.